Welcome back, Seahawks. I'm your host, Jack Kessler, and this is The Current. We've got a great episode for you today. We'll be meeting with representatives from the UNCW chapter of Ducks Unlimited to ask them about their local activities and how students can sign up. Later, we'll be doing a bit of investigative journalism ourselves as we try to get to the bottom of how students feel about our winged friends on campus, and maybe even how they think about us. But for now, let's slide on over to Chris with this week's segment of Recurrent.
Thanks, Jack. On April 3rd, the Poplar Riverfront Farmers Market will be taking place at the Waterline Brewing Company in downtown Wilmington. The weekly festival features farmers, producers, artists, and crafters, and attendees will be able to buy such items as fresh fruit, cheeses, meats, and seafood. More information can be found on the event's social media page. Looking further ahead, this year's Spring Fling, Urban Beer and Barbecue Festival is happening Saturday, April 10th. For the $50 ticket fee, attendees will get to join in on the food, beer, live music performances, and this year's silent auction. Now let's get back to Jack with this week's interview.
And welcome back. For today's interview, we're meeting with members of Ducks Unlimited. Here we've got former chairman Grace Parrish and current chairman Tanner Jernigan. Thank you guys for joining with us today.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So can you give us a bit of the purpose of Ducks Unlimited? What's the purpose of your group, its mission statement?
So Ducks Unlimited is the world's largest privately owned conservation organization. So it's spread all throughout North America. And our purpose is to raise as much money as possible to conserve wetlands and habitats for waterfowl.
Mm-hmm. And why do you preserve wetlands and habitats for waterfowl?
Well, for me, I've been hunting waterfowl for as long as I can remember. Just being out there, experiencing all those things, seeing nature, and knowing how much it means to me, and having that experience with my dad. If I ever have kids one day, and for future generations to come, I want them to have the same experiences that I did growing up.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you go about preservation? I know sometimes there's banquets, sometimes events. Can you give us like a rundown on what you do?
Yeah, so every year we hold our annual UNCW Ducks Unlimited banquet. So we do that downtown Wilmington. We have games, raffles, a live and a silent auction. We provide dinner and drinks to our guests. They buy tickets, come in the door. And basically it's just a good time for families to come and spend some money, win some items, and all that money goes towards Ducks Unlimited headquarters and then conservation.
When you say Ducks Unlimited headquarters, do you mean the headquarters of the national group then?
Yes, so Ducks Unlimited is split up. So we have our local chapters, like our college and other local chapters, and then we are split up into regions, districts, and then state, and then headquarters, which is in Memphis, Tennessee.
Cool. And what's the relation between you and the national organization overall? Is it, what do you do for them? What do they do for you?
Well, they help out with providing some of the items that we get for the banquet, and then obviously our contribution to them is the money that we raise, they put towards conservation efforts.
Kind of a duck-based Girl Scout thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I guess if you could go over the history of the group on campus, what's it been like?
So I'm not sure exactly when the chapter was started here, but I do have a cousin that was the former chairman when she was at UNCW. So it's been going back for a very long time. And right now we're really just trying to grow the chapter. With Hurricane Florence and all that, we had kind of some hard years, and now with COVID. But we're really just trying to grow our chapter and reach out to as many people as possible to grow our committee, and then have some successful events.
How are y'all reaching out to people?
Well, right now it's very, very tough to get new members. thankfully, the new members we got this year, Grace was able to meet them, but we're trying to reach out on Instagram, do events here and there, have meetings. We're trying to reach out to people, but with the COVID crisis, it's really tough.
Mm-hmm. Now, piggybacking off the history of the group here on campus, what's the history of the national group? What can you tell us about that?
I don't know exactly when it started. I believe 70 years. I think that's right. About 70 years. So again, that just started with people that are waterfowlers and love to go duck hunt and really care about the future populations of waterfowl, and they want to conserve those numbers and make sure that their youth have opportunities to do that when they grow up as well.
So waterfowl, it used to be like a meat industry. People used to go out on these little boats with these big cannons on them, and they would kill thousands and thousands of ducks in rafts sitting out in the middle of these big bodies of water, and they would actually sell them for meat. And during that time period, I'm pretty sure it was around the 1970s, where ducks population just saw a huge decrease. Well, that's when the federal regulations of duck hunting, where limits, everything came in, and then Ducks Unlimited stepped in as conservation efforts, and then that's when the duck population itself just saw a drastic increase over a certain time period with just those few steps. So it's a really helpful organization, and I'm thankful for what they do.
I guess y'all are really proud to be a part of it then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. What's your personal connection to the organization? I mean, you're obviously very interested in waterfowling, but just tell us what got you interested, what made y'all join?
So for me, like I mentioned before, my family has been involved with Ducks Unlimited, and it's a great community and network of people, and that's something that kind of drew me into it, and as well as the conservation efforts that they do. But just researching DU and seeing like the big impact that they do have, it was just amazing to me, and just seeing all the people my family members know through Ducks Unlimited, that was amazing. It's like a family.
For me, growing up, my dad was like, hey, there's a Ducks Unlimited banquet this weekend. It was my local one in Wilson, North Carolina. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool, just go check it out and see what's it about. And we go, and then there's just so many cool items that, duck hunters can appreciate. And I'm like, dang, this is pretty cool. And then there was an opportunity in my high school where there was a chapter at my high school, and I got, kind of involved with it. And I was like, they're doing some good stuff here. So through college, I was like, I need to stick with this. So
You've really been a lifelong member, haven't you?
Oh, almost, yeah.
All right. Now, how can students get involved with the organization here on campus?
So students can reach out to us either on Wavelink or message us on Instagram, and we will, invite them to our next meeting. Let them know, hey, this is what we do. If they like it, they can stick around. They can become a committee member and just help us out with our event, or they can become an executive board member if they'd like to help us manage our financials. Do a little bit more with planning the banquet, then they can do that as well.
What goes into planning the banquet? I mean, that's your biggest event of the whole year. What goes into planning it?
It's a lot. So first we got to get, like our space, caterers. We got to get, most importantly, we need to get sponsors. Last year we had over 20 sponsors, so we go out in the community and we talk to people, and they either donate money to us or they donate items that we can use at our banquet. So we have people that donate money towards our t-shirts, beverages, we got fishing poles, we got all kinds of stuff. So it really is like a community thing. It's awesome to see people, help out and do this for a great cause. But it is a lot of work. We have to make sure we have enough merchandise. We got to make sure we have games for everybody. We have an auctioneer. So it is a lot of planning. It takes months to plan.
How's the current planning for the upcoming banquet going?
Well, me just being recently elected, the past 2 weeks, I've been very, very close with Grace here, trying to get all the things that I need to have to make sure we have a successful banquet, and I'm learning very fast that it's a lot of work. But I've heard a lot of clubs say they have like poor interactions with past members that have left, but I know that with Grace, that's not going to be the case, and that's really something they can attest to the Ducks Unlimited family. Is we're all very close, a close-knit group. So I know I can, if I need Grace for something, I know I can pick up the phone and call her, and she'll be right there to help me.
That is commendable. That is very commendable, I must say. All right. Now, something I read up while researching the organization, there's some people that are like oddly concerned about there's a strange maybe dichotomy between wanting to save wetlands for ducks and at the same time hunting them. Some people, they don't seem to understand that. For their clarification, what do you think about the subject?
Well, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't shoot deer, there's going to be too many of them. It's going to be overpopulation. They're going to start starving, and so on and so on. That whole argument of a biological, there's a capacity, once it meets it, animals just die off. Well, you know, you have to have that same thing in duck hunting. If you don't kill them, there's going to be too many of them. And then there's rules established, whereas, you know, if one year they take biological samples of the breeding areas, and if there's a decrease in a certain number of waterfowl, they lower the limit for that year. So say for last year, the limit on mallards was 4 mallards, no more than 2 hens. This year it was 2 mallards, no more than 1 hen. So they saw a decrease in population, and remind you, mallard is the most populous duck in North America. So, I mean, there's very, very plenty of them. But they saw a slight decrease, and they're like, hey, we need to do something about this. So the federal regulations changed, and they're going to try to make a difference in that one species. So as a waterfowler, you have to be in constant check of the regulations on the waterfowl, because limits change every year. So you have to know what you're doing, know your stuff, respect the limit, and make sure you don't mess it up for everybody else.
Very nice, very nice. Do you have any comments on that?
No, I think you said it well.
Excellent. All right. Do you have any other upcoming events other than the banquet? Other ways that students can get involved?
So right now what we're doing is we try to do meetings at least once a month, and we try to do them outside, so we got a little bit more space to meet with people. So if people are just looking for a good community to join and just people to meet and talk to, if you just want to come to our meetings and meet some people, that's perfectly fine. So that's something we do. We are working on possibly in the future maybe doing a second event in the year, whether it's a cookout or something along those lines. So we've been trying to plan that, but again, with the circumstances we're in, it's pretty difficult. But a lot of colleges do 2 events a year, like a cookout kind of event, oyster roast, something like that, and then their dinner event, which is the banquet.
Excellent. Let's say, I suppose, if people wanted to join up with you, where could they find you on social media?
The best place to reach us on social media would be our Instagram. We're most active on Instagram, and our Instagram is UNCWDU.
Okay. Any final thoughts you have for us today?
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, thanks for coming on. All right, well, let's turn now to Thaddeus Friedline, who's out on the street asking students what they think of our avian friends, the geese and ducks that roam on campus. And maybe, just if we're lucky, we might get to see what they think of us. Let's turn to him for more.
We are here today on campus at UNC Wilmington to talk about the rising tensions between students and geese. Here's what we found. So we set across campus. Right away, I could tell that something terrible had happened. Using my instincts, I was able to tell that nobody was on campus. Why could that be? I searched for hours, trying to find somebody to interview, but everybody seemed too shell-shocked to answer any questions. But it was time to get some answers. We are out here on the field on UNCW's campus, and luckily, we found somebody to interview. Let's check it out. Hello, would you be willing to do an interview with us real quick about the rising tensions between geese and students on campus?
No.
But I wasn't going to let that stop the investigation.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview with us. I know we all appreciate it here on our team.
Didn't seem like I had many options.
So we're here today to really talk about the rising tensions between the geese and students on campus, and I just wanted to get your opinion on what do you think about the geese?
They need to go,
Why?
because they are a menace.
Okay, I mean, those are some pretty harsh words. Why would you say that?
All right. I was walking to class one day, minding my own business, just trying to get a good education. Next thing I know, a swarm of geese appear. They cover Chancellor's walkway. Next thing I know, I'm in the eye of the storm. They're honking left and right, honk, 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 honk. That's all I can hear. Then Harold comes up,
Who's Harold?
the leader of the geese. He's honking in my face. I tell him to back off, he doesn't. Next thing I know, he slashes me. I couldn't get out of there faster.
I'm not sure what to say. I mean, that's pretty traumatic. Well, I know the only way that we're going to resolve the situation is if we meet their demands. Are you willing to do that?
No.
Do you want to be my friend?
No.
It seemed like the cigarette man did not want to be my friend. It really made me think and care about my avian friends. I knew the only way I can resolve the situation was to meet with them, face to beak. I'm here with the geese. I have acquired the geese. So what are your demands from us people? Why must we fight? How can we draw peace from this stone? If I learned anything, it's that the answer is love. Geese and humankind has some serious issues to work out before we can live a life in tandem. I'm Thaddeus Friedline, and this has been The Current.